Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this quick training webinar. Today, Susan Bell, BLOX Now app product manager, will provide a step-by-step training for setting up analytics for your BLOX Now app. Also here is Rich Griffin, analytics product manager, and I'm Cherry Wolf, marketing specialist for TownNews. The presentation will include a live demo and a Q&A will follow. At any point, you can type a question into the chat box, but we'll wait to answer them at the end. Today's webinar is being recorded and that will be sent out when it is available. Susan, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Cherry. Yeah, as Cherry said, we're going to kind of just walk through the setup of your analytics, but I wanted to take a couple of minutes and tell you kind of why we're in this situation. We've sent out a lot of communication, but we're doing this specifically today because it's kind of confusing and Google has kind of changed what they're doing along the way. We're having to react to it. So we want to make sure that you're comfortable with what's going on. So Google on October 31st, they sunset their legacy SDK for mobile reporting. They did this for all non-360 customers. So 360 accounts are the paid accounts through Google. So if you had a free business account, then you probably noticed Google account a alert at the top of your account warning you of this deadline. So the impact of this is that you still have your historic data in the property that you set up with your UAID. So they have not released a date yet on when they will clear out that historic data. So it's still there for right now. I always like to operate better safe than sorry. So I would go ahead and collect the historic data when you get an opportunity so you don't run into them deleting it before you're prepared. So basically, Google owns a company called Firebase. And Firebase we have always used in the background of your apps. So we've used Firebase to engine our push notification. It works along with the notifier in the BLOX CMS to be able to deliver the push notifications. So Firebase has always been collecting analytics. This has been the Google preferred solution to gather analytics, but nobody was really using it because the level of data in there was not as strong or as detailed as what Google analytic reporting was providing. So people weren't switching over. So this is Google's way of kind of forcing our hand to do this. So we've been working over the last couple of months to be able to continue providing you a free analytic solution. And so that is what we're going over today. You always have the opportunity to upgrade to 360. And I do want to reference that today is strictly about setup. What we want to do is we want to make sure that your data is flowing from Firebase to Google Analytics. So you may have a lot of reporting questions because it is a lot different. And it is still in beta, what Google is doing. So we are all going to see a lot of changes together that we have to react to and grow with. So, but like I said, today is specifically about getting that data flowing from Firebase to Google Analytics. Rich is actually going to drive for us today. We've got some test accounts here that we are going to walk through for you. While he is getting set up to do that, I do want to mention that you do have to be an admin in your Google Analytics to have high enough permissions to set this up, not only in Google Analytics, but in Firebase as well. So if you're not the Google Analytics and Firebase admin, then we'll want to make sure that we get the documentation and this recording over to them so that we can make sure that this is set up properly. So first we're going to start in GA. So Rich has opened just our GA account, and we're just going to walk through a couple steps to make sure you know where to find everything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new property. So what you're going to look for when you open up your main property account is you're going to look for that admin button at the lower left-hand corner, and you're going to select it. And that is going to give you the screen that we're on right now. So what we want to do is under the property column, the middle column right there, we are going to create a new property. And this is where we have these new selections. So you have web, apps, and then below that you have apps and web, and you'll see the little beta next to apps and webs, but that is the Google solution for this. So you're going to select that and then select continue. So here we're going to answer a couple of questions. We're going to create a name for your property. You can name this anything that you want, but we would suggest you putting a Now app in there so that you can easily find it in your Google Analytics. You're going to continue and go through and select your time zones. And your other options there. And then after you get through, you're simply going to press create. So this is immediately going to take you to this next section where we have to create data streams. And that's the screen that we're looking at right now. You can see there's 3 options on here. There's iOS, there's Android, and there's web. Today, we're only going to be walking through the iOS and the Android. You have to complete these next steps for both iOS and Android. So if you'll go ahead and select the iOS option. So when we get into here, we are going to go in, and there's particular things. When we create the app, we create an Apple ID, a bundle ID, a package name, however they're referred to. You have one for iOS and you have one for Android. It's provided on the onboarding docs. If it was a brand new app, we may have created that for you, but your customer service representatives, if you don't have that or you're not the person who provided it, then they can provide that for you. So you're going to put that bundle ID in, and then you're going to put your app name. Now, I will tell you, this doesn't have to be exactly what your app name is that's live in Apple Store Connect. You can name it whatever. That really doesn't matter here. So after you get through including that information, you're going to go down and you're going to select Register App. And some of these steps we won't be able to complete all the way because we're not actually creating this property in our, but I think he's going to go ahead and register it.
Yeah, it's not going to connect to anything at this point. It's probably going to create a new project for me.
Okay.
Which I'll be deleting, but this will be connecting to their existing project in Firebase, and they'll just be clicking next all the way through this until they get to the end.
So as you can see, thanks, Rich. And as you can see, what happened was a lot of those fields, they just auto-populate. So then what happens is you're just going to get to a series here, and all you have to do is continue selecting next. So you're going to just select next through all of this until you run out of next options. And then you're going to skip the verify. You can see it was still spinning, but you can skip the run the app to verify installation. You're going to want to skip that step. All right, so now this iOS process is complete in Google Analytics. And again, at this point, you would go and select Android from your data streams. And then you're going to follow this process again. You're going to put your bundle ID in. And just to note again, your bundle ID could be different from Android and iOS. A lot of times they're the same, but it could be a different bundle ID. So make sure you have the right one. And again, he's just on the steps right now where we're just continuing pressing next through all of this. And then we're going to get to the auto population. And then we're going to skip the verify step. So now you can see we have an iOS data stream and we have a Android data stream. So your app is still, or your Google Analytics is still not connected to Firebase right now, but this is the first part of the setup. So now we're going to go over to your Firebase Console. Everybody has one of these, so you just simply go into your firebase.com and log in with your username and password, and then you're going to launch Console, and that's that first page that we have right here. So we're going to go in and you're going to select your property app project. When you first get to Firebase, you'll see a screen. It'll have, if you don't mind just showing that, you'll see a screen. It'll have all of the properties. You may only have one, or, if you're a larger group, you may have, 15 projects in here. So select the app, and it's important because this has to be the right one because your pushes are created on the same project. So then you simply just click that, And then we're going to go to the property and app project settings. That is located up by the gear shift, and then is the first option there. So you can go ahead and select property settings. And then we're going to go and we're going to select data privacy. If you scroll down on the data privacy screen, all the way at the bottom on the right, you're going to see the analytics settings. And so you're going to go ahead and select that. And then here at the top of the screen, you're going to see the begin upgrade. So you're going to select begin upgrade. And then you're going to select continue on this page right here. That's just giving you some information. And then you're going to get to configure your Google Analytics. Here, you're going to get a drop down and you need to select your property account and Google Analytics. So that account the property account that we just created, we're going to want to scroll through here and select one. You're probably just going to have one option in the drop down. We have a lot because we have a lot connected to this. So you're just simply going to select whichever one. And I don't think Rich can do that because our property is actually not here because we're using a couple of different accounts for this demonstration today. But after you get through doing that, you literally hit continue and this part of the process is over. So at that point, it is linked in there. And how you know that you did this correctly, Rich, I don't know if you can flip back over to Google Analytics and show us an account that has already been linked successfully so that we can see the green Firebase approval check mark. So after you complete the Firebase steps, you'll flip back over to your Google Analytics.
This is the wrong one, sorry.
That's okay. So you can see at the bottom of that list right now, there is a Firebase linking at the bottom of the list. You can go there, just click on that, and you'll see that it was linked on a particular date. This particular account was linked on 11/14, and I've got a little verification check mark. This means we have successful data flowing from these two accounts. Now, once you get this set up, it is going to take 24 hours before your data starts populating in GA. I will tell you this beta program is good because in Firebase, the reporting in there is very different from Google Analytics. Here you have some familiar buttons and steps and you have behavior and you're able to do a little bit of reporting and hear from there. And it'll be along with all your website analytics and things of that nature. You won't have to go back and forth between these two websites in order to kind of view and see what's going on with your apps. So that actually completes our demonstration. So we're going to take a few minutes, Cherry, and open the floor up and ask some questions.
Oh, did you want to go to the documentation page?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Thank you. So everything that we just went over, we prepared this documentation. We typically don't prepare third-party documentation, but Google has not done a fantastic job at documenting this. So we have written this documentation on the linking between GA and Firebase. I tried to include as many screenshots as we could, but it walks through every step that I just went through for Google and for Firebase. So if the right people are on the call today, then you'll have this link to. No, I was just going to make sure that Rich didn't have anything to add, make sure that I covered everything.
Oh, everything sounded great.
Okay.
Okay, questions? Can you send that link out to everyone? Yes, we will. We will make sure that everyone has the documentation link and that the information is provided. As a reminder, you can type your questions into the question box. Send those to us. You can also reach out to us with your questions or reach out to customer support. I think you guys did a great job of answering how to do that because there aren't any questions.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope it was helpful to go through the steps. Sometimes it's just easier to see a visual of doing that just because it's so many steps. We just wanted to make sure you guys were comfortable.
As a reminder, here's where you can find the documentation at help.bloxcms.com. Oh, just had a comment. The visuals definitely helped. Thanks for that. You can call our support line at 800-293-9576 or visit support.townnews.com. You can visit the partner community at community.townnews.com to share ideas with other news sites in the Town News Network. You can check our status at townnews.status.io. You can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. And everyone has been added to the list for today's webinar, and we will send the recording out. There aren't any other questions at this time, so Susan, Rich, do you have anything to add?
Oh, we covered it.
Thank you everyone for attending, and hopefully this was helpful. Have a great day.